It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video. So this is going to be my episode predictions for Season 7, Episode 16, the Season 7 finale of The Walking Dead. It's going to be called The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. So as always, I'm going to read the synopsis, give my thoughts on the synopsis, and then we're going to transfer to just an overall prediction. Now I have some predictions based on the comic, which I'm going to leave out till the end of the video, so that way it's not going to spoil it for non-comic readers. So let's get right into this. Let's start with the synopsis. The synopsis reads, the first day of the rest of your life. The stakes continue to grow higher as paths cross. The group enacts an intricate plan. So the stakes are high because Rick and the other communities have now made a pact to fight against Negan and the Saviors. And they are ready to make it known to Negan that they're not going to follow him anymore, even if it means for them to go to war with the Saviors. That's why the stakes are high. Paths cross. So that kind of relates to the last point, because we do know that the communities are all coming together. The paths of these different members of these different communities are going to cross. The kingdom is coming to Alexandria. The scavengers are coming to Alexandria. Negan and the Saviors are on their way to Alexandria. Some members of the Hilltop are possibly going to come to Alexandria. And that means that the paths are crossing. The group enacts an intricate plan. So the group, the survivors, are making a plan on how they want to make it known to him that they're not going to follow his plan anymore. And how they're going to deal with Negan and the Saviors going forward now that they're not following his rules. So that's basically it for the synopsis. That's all we can say based on the synopsis. So now, just an overall prediction about what we're going to see based on the promo. So I think it's safe to assume that this episode is going to pick up exactly where we left off in the last episode. So we are going to begin with getting to see Rick and Dwight's conversation. So in the last episode, Rick pointed the gun at Dwight's face and told him to kneel. So in this episode, we're basically going to see why Rick did that and what he's going to do. I think that Rick is basically doing this to see why Dwight is doing this and whether or not Rick can actually trust them. From here, they're basically going to reveal why Dwight is choosing to turn his back on Negan. In order for Dwight to actually get Rick to trust them, I think Dwight is going to reveal some information about the Sanctuary and Negan, and about how the Sanctuary operates, and also how his system works on dealing with these different communities. So that's going to be the first part. And then from the promo again, we know that there's going to be some sort of altercation between Dwight and Daryl. So that's going to come after. And that may kind of connect to some of the things that I just explained, with Dwight ensuring the survivors that he's in fact there to help them. So that's the first part. Then I think the next part is going to be Dwight going back to the Sanctuary, and I think he may, with the help of Rick and the others, or maybe just by himself, set up some kind of roadblock along the way. So it's going to be tough for the Saviors to get there, and we do see that from the promo. And this kind of connects to something else. So we do know that Rick and the other survivors are actually waiting for the Saviors. They're expecting the Saviors. And the only reason that they would know that the Saviors are coming is if Dwight told them. So I think Dwight probably has an idea that a little birdie told Negan about Rick's plan, or that he has some ideas. He may not exactly know who the little birdie is, but he knows that Negan knows. And he knows that Negan and the Saviors are probably going to come to Alexandria. And I think that's what he's going to tell Rick. And Rick is going to plan and get ready for the Saviors. But just to add to that, Dwight is going to set up roadblocks. And he's going to make it tougher for them to get there. He's basically buying time so that Rick and the others have enough time to get ready. Then the next part, the Saviors are going to come. So we know that Negan and the Saviors are going to come to Alexandria. From the promo and some images, we know that Eugene and Sasha are going to be coming with them. Now for Sasha, we still don't know if she took the pill or not, and also if she's going to survive. So that's going to be the main component of this episode, getting to see whether Sasha makes it or not. Because there's a good chance that she's not going to make it. So that's going to be very interesting. That connects to something else that I'm going to talk about at the end of the video. So we know that Negan and the Saviors are coming to Alexandria, and there's going to be some sort of altercation between Negan and the Saviors and the survivors at Alexandria. And depending on who the little birdie is, there may be some sort of altercation between the scavengers and the survivors as well. So if the scavengers and Jadis are actually spies for Negan, then there's definitely going to be some sort of altercation between those two as well. So it's not just the Saviors versus the survivors, but it's also the scavengers as well. So the scavengers are in there as well, and it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because the scavengers are at Alexandria and they're basically working with Rick, or that's what Rick believes at the moment. So that's going to be cool as well. And then we also know the Kingdom people, the Kingdomers, Ezekiel, Carol, and Morgan are on their way to Alexandria. So that's going to be an extra thing that's going to be added in. And it's basically going to make it so that all of the communities, or a good chunk of the members of all of these communities, are at Alexandria. And there's going to be a massive altercation between all of these communities. So that's going to be interesting to see. Now, that's basically it for my prediction based on just what we got for the promo. So now I'm going to include some comic spoilers. Don't watch the rest of the video. So I'll give you 3 seconds to quit, because what I'm going to say about the comics is going to spoil it for you if you're not a comic reader or if you're not caught up. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to spoil things from the comics. So in the comic book, there's a few things that we know that happened at this point. So of course in the comics we have the Holly death, and that's basically going to happen in this episode. We're going to see the Holly death, and in this case, in the TV show, Holly is replaced by Sasha. So we're probably going to see Sasha dead, and as a walker, she's going to bite someone else. Now, I think that person is going to be either Tara or Rosita. So that's going to happen, which is going to be very cool. But then the other part is that at the end, there's going to be some sort of lineup. And Negan is basically going to do his eeny, meeny, miny, mo again. But just at the last minute, we're going to have Jesus and the Kingdom people coming to rescue them and to save the day. It's going to be like an epic altercation between them, and Negan is basically not going to have the ability to kill anyone, to do anything. So he's basically going to go back, and he's going to basically say we're going to war, and that's going to trigger the war. So I think that's going to happen in this episode as well. So these are basically the 2 main points from the comics that happened at this time that I wanted to put out there in this video. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll be back for another video.